Welcome to the Norris Group Real Estate Podcast, a show committed to bringing you insights from thought leaders shaping the real estate industry. In each episode, we'll dive into conversations with industry experts and local insiders, all aimed at helping you thrive in an ever-changing real estate market, continuing the legacy that Bruce Norris created, sharing valuable knowledge, and empowering you on your real estate journey. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a newcomer, this is your go-to source for insider tips, market trends, and success strategies. Here's your host, Craig Evans.
The Norris Group is proud to present our 18th annual gala, I Survived Real Estate, at the Nixon Presidential Library on Friday, September 12th. Since 2008, our event has raised well over $1 million. This year, we'll be raising funds again for Make-A-Wish, OC, and IE. Individual tickets are available now. To get your tickets, go to isurviverealestate.com or click the link here in the card. We would like to thank the following platinum sponsors: UDirect IRA Services, the San Diego Creative Investors Association, Douglas Brook Homes, MBT Productions, Realty 411, and DBL Capital.
Here's the funny end of that story. So the cycle ends, and now I call it Tony.
The houses he sold for like $300,000 at the peak of the market and out in the middle of the desert, nowhere, Rosemont.
So I call him up. I say, "Okay, Tony, pull the plug. Just get rid of him." He's like, "Okay, how many of these do I have to sell a month?" It's like I've got to send it to
I
Tony,
wanted a specific date.
Tony, get rid of him, man. It's time.
But I want you to know, follow the bouncing ball. The houses that he built, they were like, I don't know, some of them sold for like $375,000, $350,000. I forget what the heck it was. It was crazy numbers. Out in Rosemont, which I don't know if you guys don't know where that is. It's a good thing you don't know. There's only one off-ramp off in that place, and I don't even know where it goes. Anyways, I bought a lot of those houses back for $30,000, like a year, 2 years, whatever the heck it was later.
Yeah. At the peak, they sold for $300,000.
For $300,000, yeah.
And you're buying it for 30.
$30,000.
They're 2 years old.
I used to send him the pictures of the thing. I'd say, got another one. Hey, I like the roof on this one.
Okay.
Hey,
And this is how important timing is. So if somebody had created 120 lots in that area in like 1980,
right,
80, 85, something like that. Yeah. I bought those for. Now, this is a finished building lot, single loaded with streets and sewers and everything for $3,000 a lot. And I just held them, waiting for the charts to tell me I had time to build them out, and I would sell them close to the peak of the price. So that's why I drug my feet. And at that same time, Tony was saying, I got to get out of here. I said, well, that's an interesting decision, because I'm waiting intentionally, because I can tell you, and what I was looking for, one of the important things is migration. And there's a silly way to understand where migration's going. Price out a U-Haul, not a U-Haul, going from like Lancaster to somewhere, and that's somewhere back to Lancaster. The price will be 10 times in one direction, because when it lands in Lancaster and everybody's migrating there, that truck has nowhere to go. It has to be, driven by anyway. So that tells you where people are going. So I watched that, and I drug my feet and started when I knew there was time for the affordability, and so we maxed that out. But that was like very strategic, and Tony met me at about that time, and it was kind of fun, because I was like, I'm doing the opposite of what you think is the best, Okay.
All right, so as we start to final out, I'm going to change directions here. I want to hear one of the things that I want to hear that we don't often do, that I'm hoping you guys will put up with me on, is what do you see and predict for the rest of this year and into 2026? Whether it's economics, whether it's housing, what do you see for predictions for the state of our country and our economy and our housing market? Why don't we start with Doug, and we'll just work our way straight down through that.
I know nothing about prediction. Except for 3 rules, right? But First of all, in terms of what's to be optimistic, every human being on the planet puts their head down on a piece of real estate of some type every night. So real estate's always part of the human condition. So you're in a business that's essential for the human condition. So that you can always be optimistic about that. Trends come and go, but to me, that's why I stayed in real estate all my career. For the rest of this year, there'll be a pickup in refinancing. Obviously, there's a lot of folks that have 7 to 8% mortgages, and the mortgage rate's now down around 6.25%. So you're going to see stories about pickups in refinance activity. But I think sales will be relatively flat for the rest of the year and into next year. I think Bruce is absolutely right. It takes time for people to conclude that the potential of things staying in the future state that it's heading for is sustainable enough for them to take the risk to make a move relative to that trend line. So I think it will take some time to build momentum.
I think one thing that we probably can be certain about is there will be a lot more uncertainty. That's for sure. But, I do believe that even though we have seen maybe in the last few weeks interest rates have come down since the beginning of August, I do think there might be still a little bit more fluctuation in terms of interest rates. But by the end of the year, I still think that it's going to be maybe a little bit below what we're at right now, just a little bit, not significantly lower. So let's say if you look at the Mortgage News Daily numbers, it's at 6.3 right now. It could be somewhere around 6.2. I also agree with Bruce that, sales, I said it earlier, sales it will improve, but it's not going to change a whole lot because, fluctuations of interest rate is going to continue. But I do believe that I also mentioned earlier, we have seen 3 consecutive months of decline in price. But I do believe that it's going to start inching up, not surging, inching up. But, we're way past, the peak price for this year. Peak price for this year was, April 2025. So we do see some inching up. As far as optimism, I think you can see, whether it be general consumer optimism or as well as housing sentiment, they could be actually seeing in different directions. Like earlier today, I think consumer sentiment actually dipped a little bit. But if you look at the housing sentiment, it actually might start picking up slightly. Of course, it depends on how things go for interest rates as well as price go. But I think it could start picking up a little bit. But I don't think, again, it's not going to see a significant surge. I think it's going to take some time for things to grow, but I do see a little bit of positive towards the end of the year. Hopefully you'll build on it, and then 2026 will be a little bit better.
Okay, I think my view on things is that if you look at the upper level homes, the homes that people buy that don't really worry about mortgage payment, I'm not saying they don't have one, but just saying they don't worry about it. I think that market is going to be good through the end of next year. I think the mid-market is going to be difficult until the middle of next year, and then I think that market will start to have value increase and demand increase. And then I think the lower market, which is the starter home market, is going to be good for a while. I would be, a little scared of at the end of next year of where that is, because it's more about the comparison between rent and what you can get something for if you own it. And I'm not really sure that rents are going to continue to rise forever. So I guess my view would be, in general, housing starts go up in the second half of next year, and that'll coincide with some sort of nice situation, at least in the mid-level houses, of pricing.
I'll defer to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's only if you're closing. You don't get to take all night.
No, I'm not. Oh, it's Derek.
Okay.
All right.
I forgot the question.
I'm not.
I'm gonna
Used up here. I know if I like this.
I'm gonna tell a real estate story.
Pick
Just-
on the Hispanic guy night.
So in 2006, I write a report called the California Crash, and I made a phone call to the guy that had a really good rental, and we had a conversation, and I told him I'm not your typical renter. I'll pay a year in advance, and he said that sounds really great. Do you mind if I ask you a question? And I said, oh, go ahead. He said, do you have any pets? And there was a pause, and I remembered why I was a homeowner, that no one got to ask me that question. And I said, I'm so glad you asked that question, because I forgot that I don't want anybody to get to ask that anymore. So I probably sold that house for $400,000 or $500,000 less because I sold it a few years later, and I could care less. I put that kind of weight on home ownership because I got married at 17. When I bought my first home and mowed my grass for the first time, I cried. I felt like a man.
I would too.
So that's what home ownership means to me. It's not a math formula. And I think a lot of people need to think that way, that's a big deal. And I didn't care about losing the money. Once I realized that's what it meant to me, I wasn't going anywhere. So I just wanted to tell that story.
I think there's going to be continuing problems for people. And when they have a problem, whatever that might be, that problem gives you an opportunity. I've bought properties because people have had a job transfer and the house that they loved became an anchor, keeping them from traveling 1,000 miles to take the better job. I've bought houses from people whose doctors said you can't do stairs any longer. And I traded that lady a condo in an elevated building so she could stay in the community, and I got a nice house. But it was the problem of the doctor saying you can't do stairs that meant that house became available. It was the problem or the opportunity to go take another job. I talked last night about the lady who called me and said 12 years ago, my daughter came to visit me here in Florida, and she's still here. And in order to get her house, what I had to do was get her sister out of her house so she could then go marry the guy who wanted to marry her but did not want her sister to come with her. Well, those are problems. They're very real problems. And they're not things that get covered in the national numbers. They're a very important emotional situation that people are struggling with. And if you care enough, you can help other people. The big deal you have is you have to promise yourself that you're going to live your life so you can be proud and you can go out and make a difference in the lives of others and make a difference for yourself. When my grandson, when he was only 9, said to me, Grampy, what do you do anyway? And I said, Luca, we acquire nice houses in nice neighborhoods that we rent to nice people who take care of those houses and pay us to live there. And he said, that's a good idea. And I said, that's right. But you can be telling your children those things. You have a responsibility to pass it on, to pass it down, and to bring other people along with you. You've walked this trail ahead of them, and your job is to build a life you can be proud of. Your life is your fault. You need to tell people that. You need to feel that, and you can go out and make a difference in the world, and we do it one person at a time as we help people with problems, one family at a time.
Very cool.
All right, I'm gonna give you the opportunity. No. I'm gonna make it short, okay? Because basically, when it comes to market timing and figuring out, what do I know what's gonna happen this year? I don't have a clue. Okay, all I know is like at the beginning when you asked the first question, what's gonna happen? He said, "What did Doug say?" Yeah, I think it's gonna go up or down. It's gonna be one of the two, right? So for me, I have the same fears as everybody else. I mean, you just heard Bruce say that somebody who's very well respected and who doesn't take his own opinion too lightly said interest rates could be at 9 or 10% within 30 months or so, right?
Right.
I mean, that's enough to make you want to move to the moon. But I still got to do business in my area, so I still got to figure out a way around all that. And I deal with this stuff every day. I go to my bank. I deal with 2 banks in my area. I visit them every week. They have a cup of free coffee, maybe sometimes cookies, a lot of cookies. Okay? But, so I don't know what's coming, but I know I can handle and I can weather whatever it is that's going to happen. Peter, if you've been listening to everything Peter said tonight, I know he knows everything about the interest rates and everything else is going on, but I don't think he cares. He's out there creating his own markets. Each one of us can do the same thing in the same markets. I hope you're paying attention there, Glenn. Bruce, if I want to know about market timing, I'm coming to the Norris Group. That's it. And I hope you heard that loud and clear, because the majority of the growth in the wealth that I have had was created as a result of my relationship with Bruce Norris and the Norris Group, period. So I can't say anything else about that. It's the truth. And you know it's the truth. I chased you around like a nutcase, right? Anything he said, I wrote it down. I went and I did something. I took action. Take action, Glenn. If you fall on your face, just get up and keep doing it again and again and again. I guess that's it. That's all I got to say. And I appreciate you guys inviting me here, because I am like so outclassed. I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
This is something else. This is something. The Cuban kid. No, 10 million was the first step I got. I got way more money. Well, that's another story. That's a whole other story. Don't. Anyways, thank you.
I tell you what, if you'll give these gentlemen a hand. It's an honor to stand up here and to be with men like this, and last year women like this, and to be able to teach and to try to help others grow in their career. As I was preparing for this, obviously there's a lot of things that's happened in our world and our country in the last few days that have made things a little heavier of how we deal with people. And one of the things that has struck me is we can talk about interest rates, we can talk about how do we negotiate? We can talk about the deal, what the house looks like, on and on and on. But one of the interesting strategies, if we're honest and we listen, is that it's about people. And what I saw this week in our world, in our country, is that we're becoming a group of people that are willing to turn around and choose death instead of life. My hope for us as a group of people and for the industry that we're all so passionate about, whether we're realtors, whether we're investors, whether we're developers, business owners, helping people invest through IRAs, everything that we do, my hope and prayer is that we actually give a crap about the people next to us. We may not like them. There's a lot of people I don't like, but I still choose to help. My open prayer is that as a group of people, if you're paying attention to what we do with the Norris Group and with everything else that we've got, my hope and prayer is that you'll see we want to be a group of people, and I hope that's you, that if we say we bleed red, white, and blue, that we will bleed that, but in that process, we will care about the people around us. With all that, I say thank you for the day, thank you for the evening, and we'll see you next year. Thank you, guys.
Don't forget to visit I Survive Real Estate for tickets to the event on Friday, September 12th. The Norris Group would like to thank the following gold sponsors: Keystone CPA, the Inland Valleys Association of Realtors, Pasadena Phoebe, the North San Diego Real Estate Investors Association, LA South RIA, NorCal RIA, the Wizard of the Wobbly Box, Andy Teasley, Shepherd's Finance, the Thompson Group, Property Radar, and White House Catering. The dinner wine is provided with a generous contribution by Rick and Leanne Rossiter. Hope to see you all there.
For more information on hard money loans, trust deed investing, and upcoming events with the Norris Group, check out thenorrisgroup.com. For more information on passive investing through the DBL Capital Real Estate Investment Fund, please visit dblcapital.com.
The Norris Group originates and services loans in California and Florida under the California DRE license 01219911, Florida Mortgage Lender license 1577, and NMLS license 1623669. For more information on hard money lending, go to thenorrisgroup.com and click the hard money tab.